This isn't the one. Oh. There it is. Hello and good evening. Nice to see some people are here. We're just going to wait about 4 more minutes before we start. I will. But he's going to whine and want in, but that doesn't matter. I'll just do this. Oh. I'm going to have a... There we go. Oh. 3 minutes. Oops. Welcome, everyone. Nice to see a few people here. I hope everyone here got the email, and my apologies. Sometimes I'll send the email Monday evening and forget to put the link. So I resent it this morning, and then again, just to make sure. So I hope that was okay and helpful. So just give me a thumbs up if you hear me loud and clear. just give me a thumbs up in the chat, please. I'll take that as a yes. No one's responding. I would love a thumbs up in the chat. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Nice to see you, Laverne. Angie. All right, we've got some regulars here, and that's what we want. I really love, just to say what some of you have been talking about, appreciating that it's slowed down a bit. I know that some channels, a lot of the channels, they tend to want to rush, and I'm going, that must be difficult for someone new who's learning to follow along. So that's not the only reason I want to go slow. It also helps me stay in the present moment and just not jump ahead. So welcome to Michelle Holden Art, Beyond Mixed Media, and the Create With Me live sessions. Today or tonight, I sent out or let everyone know that we were going to create a full page. It isn't a full spread. I don't go from one side to the other, just because I like to use the coil art journals. And I love the other page for my reflection, which is very important for your growth in connecting and just learning to get closer to your true self, your true art. So in front of me, I've got some things in order to talk about. So let's just say hello. And I would like to say that Create With Me is a nurturing space that you'll reconnect, or it'll help you reconnect with your creative self through simple, soulful practices that awaken your inner rhythm, creating from feeling, meaning, not perfection, one soulful layer at a time. I know that was a mouthful, but I've just realized I'm not saying what I'm all about, and I am perfecting it as I go along. So if that resonates with you, please give me another thumbs up or an okay in the comments. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking because I know the beginning of the video can be, it can be boring, but I hope you don't find it boring. And that word boring has brought me to another idea of when were you learning just for technique or doing all these journals, just, ooh, look at that effect, or let's try this, let's try that. It can be pretty empty if it's not meaningful to you. And that's where my art journaling, I call it intuitive art journaling, is different. And we're just going to keep going and going deeper. And as you can see what I'm going to show you next, we'll continue. The last two Create With Me sessions were about using some charcoal. We were doing mark making before that. And then we used some stencil from, I think, Temu, just, inexpensive stencils, but I really like their organic shape. And that's another reason, finding your marks, what resonates with you, what you love, only by doing, and especially if you're doing a regular practice daily, even about, 10 to 20 minutes. And if you want some more of that, check out my 100 days what do we call it? Category of videos on my channel. The playlists, I should say. Sorry about that. And there's Intuitive Art Journaling, the Create With Me series, the 100 Days of 10-Minute Art, and more. But let's get back into what we're going to do tonight. So this was a ghost print on deli paper. As you can see, this is the shiny side, and this is sort of the dull side. And I loved how it picked up paint, and it's very, very natural. Even though I did go a little fast with the marks, I still like them. Slowing down gives a different energy for your marks. This was the stencil. This is rice paper that I ordered from Temu. I can't wait to see what that does. It'll probably melt away and it'll be very transparent. Before we dive into tonight's full page session, how has everyone's week been going with your creativity? Has anyone discovered anything new? Need something new? Or just looking forward to just exploring more? This was the last stages of charcoal and paint and a mixture just to lift, but I use, as you can see, it's a little shiny. I use the high gloss to put down on the jelly plate. These are the papers. This is writing paper. It has I don't think it's mulberry. I think it's still a rice paper with the fibers in it. This is another dyed, I guess it's like a coffee color. It's not coffee, but we're going to use this one. It's very transparent. I'm trying to find those charcoal pieces that we used or created. Here's this one. Very fast marks, but that's okay. This is perfect for a demonstration or an exploration. Hello, Marjorie. Nice to see you here. Okay, so I tend to, and I say this all the time, to choose too many collage papers as I just love them. Combination of newsprint, deli paper, rice papers. Here's another one, but I used this color. Now this will just be the hero color of the collage, burnt sienna. Such beautiful tones for this time of year. And I'm still sticking to the muted tones palette. Okay, so I'm just going to put these to the side for a moment and we'll come back to those. This is my 8x10 jelly plate. And as you can see the remnants of charcoal on it. I tried to get them off, but as I worked and did more pulls with other pages, these marks aren't showing up. So I don't know if it's a stain or the particles are very tiny and they'll eventually wear off. I also like to use a little bit of alcohol, just the 70%, and a damp rag to lift off. And when I did, and there's nothing on the cloth, I know this is it's almost ready to go, but nothing is showing up. So I don't know what that is. I'm not a jelly plate printer expert. I'm learning like you are, but I just love what these can do. Don't you? Okay. No, exactly, Marjorie. It is a stain, and I don't think we need to worry about it. So I just wanted to bring that up because a member or subscriber mentioned that. And thank you for, and I forget your name, for mentioning that. That was very useful. So how I store it, I put the lid back on, or this is a piece of pretty thick acetate plastic. and I keep it on a glass chopping board that I got a while ago. I can't find these anymore. I got these at Walmart. The chopping boards came in 2 different sizes. So one fits my 11 by 14 or 12 by 14. It's a very large jelly plate. And the other one fits this one. So I don't know if some of you have seen this particular page in posts. I like to zoom in on parts of it, and I'll explain why I love it, and I'll read you my reflection notes. So, natural elements, some of my using plants and different objects with ink. That's what this is. So it was really from nature to me, the feeling. So that's why I chose water stencils, branching lines. You could even draw branching lines. You wouldn't need a stencil. It's just that I just love that paper. That's on deli paper. And I love the cartridge paper as it fades. And when I first start my pages, they're not very rectilinear or all over. They just get that way as I add layers. And it's a very minimal palette. We're going to use a warm palette without blue tonight, as you can see. And sometimes I like to leave out the blue and just have a neutral page. So that I brought out for inspiration. So that is going to help me with my intention. I'm just going to view it. I'm going to put it to the side and just keep the feeling. I might glance at it every once in a while, but I know that the pages I'm going to make tonight is just going to carry the feeling. It may or may not. Who knows? Let's find out. This page is another recent page with yellow oxides, different transparent. Here's that paper that I just showed you, the rice paper, and see how transparent it goes. It's so cool, especially over contrasting marks that we're going to start with first. I always love to start with my marks first because it activates the page or the substrate, whatever it is you're using. So let's take a quick pause before we dive in. Okay, so this is sort of a pretend writing, which is called a semic writing. It's not bad. I just needed that sense of a message. This is a new stencil, which is sort of like emulating burlap or a fabric. And I have different ones here, and I use pens, and I'll get those out. I tend to use my pens last, so I have a variety. Also, the water-soluble graphite we're going to start with. And of course, charcoal. So let's turn to a new page. Any questions so far? Any comments? Hello, Miss Fabidia. I hope I said that right. I love it. Okay. So, this is, of course, again, 140-pound watercolor paper from Canson. If I could find the cover. There it is. Okay. Oh, and I just wanted to show you one thing. Once you start making several journals, as you can see, I felt the need to make the cover. And what I like to do is create a cover in the same way that I make my pages, or I will select one of my favorite pages and put it on the cover, which saves a lot of time. And this is much better to look at rather than the Canson label, don't you think? So there's that one. Very rectilinear, meaning rectangles, even though they're loose. This is another one. This is from my 100 days. So there's, oh, almost that many. And then the rest of the 100 days, day 68 up to 100, I believe. And I wrote that down, yes, 68 to 100. And I am going to put a piece on the inside as well, like a book. Though I don't do book arts and all of that, but I certainly love looking at these. This is an earlier one. This is scrapbooking, thick paper that you put in the scrapbooks. They're a great background, especially the natural ones that are very thick. This is one I used to tape around, and sometimes you can go vertical, go narrow, and very horizontal. So I'm letting you have a peek, very neutral, with pieces of magazine, stamping. I just love these. And this was 2021. But I still love. Sometimes you'll go back and go, wow, why didn't I keep that? Cropping of the number 8, or maybe it's an infinity sign. It just leaves you thinking. This is natural tissue paper, and I just love that thin layer. So that's what we're going for. And I love to use black and white pictures. I don't like to use color. Here's the highway, the road, a pathway. So if this is resonating with you, please get on my Letters from the Studio or my regular newsletter to be the first to know of when my new course is coming out. And I also keep a black and white. This is, you can have an art journal for all sorts of different things. And it's just so much fun. That I have to add an interior. But you probably have seen this. That's a spread. And I really love the spread. And I think I'll keep doing that in this particular journal. There's the writing. Words have a lot of power. There's another one. Okay. So let's get on with tonight's. And I hope I haven't been too long, but that's okay. It's such a learning process with tonight's full page. So I'm not going to tape it off, though I really like doing that. I'm going to use a little bit of ink, acrylic ink, so it'll dry. Hopefully I won't need to use my dryer too often. White, black, yellow oxide. I'll move this over a bit. And this is they call it parchment, but it is unbleached titanium kind of color. Okay. So with my regular practice of 10 minutes or 20 minutes, depending on how long I have, like I said, I love to activate the page in different ways. Tonight's focus is charcoal, so I am going to start with charcoal, and I'm just going to slow down and breathe. And I like how the charcoal grabs the paper. When you're slowing down like this, that's when the magic happens. It's really not magic, it's connection. It's what we need. And what goes on in our brains when we are creating, using that part of the brain, the amygdala. I love the neuroscience and the neuroaesthetics behind all of this. A lot of things happen. So I'm sort of creating a border, I'm noticing. I've not done that before. I love doing something that I haven't done before. Okay. So I am going to seal this. It'll smudge a little, but I want it to, and know that it can smudge. And that's where, oh, when you practice, not the word practice, explore your materials in different ways, that's when you can find out and you build your repertoire of marks. See, I could go this way. Now I'm going to rub that off, and now these marks will be sealed. And notice I am also still going to use the papers that I made with charcoal. So now you've got things echoing through your layers. You can see that build up. I'm just going to put it over here. I might even use that again if it doesn't dry. And now that it's scraped off, things are sealed. I don't have to use the dryer. Okay. We'll just let that dry for a moment. And now I'm going to use the Caran d'Ache Neo Color. And that's where my one color is going to be. But before I do that, I want to push back some of the marks with the white. And I really like, notice the soft edges that charcoal can make. And I'm going to add another mark that's completely different, that's clean and sharp as a contrast. Because now I've learned that I like that combination. Notice I'm just letting things peek through, however you do that. Okay. I think I'm going to, I want to use something very sharp. My new brushes, I love these. This is black. This is the Liquitex Basics Fluid. And notice I'm just relinquishing control. Yes, isn't charcoal amazing? Now remember that page? So what inspires me is the marks, and look at that blob. So I'm going to do that with ink. I'm going to come in with some ink so that instead of adding it as a piece of collage, what this is, it's going to be on the substrate already. I can choose to let some show through. I don't know how much will show through. And just experimenting with your tools, the kind of marks that they want to make. So I'm going up on an angle, change that around. Okay. This is the Aquafine Ivory Black acrylic ink. I'm just going to experiment with those, but I know that my bamboo skewer can really make some interesting fine lines. Now, it's not on paper this time. Remember, it's on the medium. So those are rather fuzzy, so I don't like those so much. So I'm going to add some length and some energy. Look at the difference in the characteristics. And if you really are not, well, that's okay. You can use your brayer. You can flatten it out. What I love is the surprise that the brayer can give. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'll put this charcoal away. Now, let's start adding some collage. I want to start with a very translucent piece and then go opaque as I move out. So I'm going to use the matte medium fluid down here. With my color shaper. Just take some of that paint off. And I notice I like to use, oh, there's that ink spreading because it's not dry. Ooh, let's go with that. See how these unexpected things can happen? So I just want to have some marks come through here. There we go. And very transparent, as you can see. And it soaks it up, so you can put it on the surface and it'll go right through. Every kind of paper has a characteristic, so you'll want to explore that. So here's a light gray instead of the black. Yeah, let's go there. And I'm going to overlap. And look how it melts. Oh, this is fabulous. This is the rice paper. This is the one. This is the winner. So I would call this absolutely transparent. Look at that. Wow, what we can do with that. What do you think? Okay. So in our art journal, and I like to, think of it nice and neat and tidy, but not all the time. It's your exploration, which you don't have to show anyone. It's just for you. I'm going to just bring up these scraps because I selected them earlier. I'm not going to use the blue, like I said. Here's some of that charcoal. And I like to use combinations of torn and cut. So you have a hard edge and a soft edge. Really liking this. Wow. Okay. That's going to look great dry with some white lines with my pen at the end. Here's a little piece of that rice paper, and I'm just going to put it right here. Something tells me that's a good spot. And when you're using a bunch of transparent papers, you'll find, you need some contrast. You need to use opacity as well. So I'm going to put that here. It's an old book page, and I love how they age. We're going to put some marks over these. You might echo the same kind of marks. I don't know if I'll use charcoal again. I like to use it in the early layers, but who knows? Oh, look at that. Okay, we can use some of this because you won't see it. Notice I selected, when we're creating with a simple palette, it's all cohesive. So no matter what you do, it'll all go together and have this relationship. Here's a piece of the charcoal, which, right there. And you know why I chose? Even though it's not the same, something told me, even though that's black and white, that's going through, the marks are underneath, so there's a weaving. Now, there's not a lot of charcoal marks on the surface, but we know, and you know what? I'm not even going to go that high up. Okay, let's have some interaction here. Where would you place this piece of collage? Here, say upper left. Lower left. Where would you place it? There's a few places. It's calling me there, but does anyone want to see it in another spot? Oh, yes. It's great because you're using your own work. You're relating to that yourself. It's your own work, which is, you know, I love Pinterest, believe me, especially for the mark making ideas. It's amazing. It's a bit too large. Okay. Nina, thank you for that. So let's do that. I'm going to place it up there, but let's scale it down. Let's see what that looks like. What do you think? Is that better? All right, I'm going to put it up here. And notice how it works because it's a similar value, different marks. This is really cool. Okay, we've not used paint yet, so let's get that going. There it is. I was looking for my smallest color shaper. And what I like to do is maybe echo some of the lines in a different way. See, to me that's too bright, so I'm just going to bring in. Oh, that's very interesting. I think we'll overlap. We'll come down on the paper. Maybe do that. I noticed I haven't used the crayons yet, even though I started to talk about it. So I'll bring those and we'll use those as a glaze instead. And you see how you can pick it up and keep the transparency happening? We'll use this one. This rice paper really stands up. So I want to put another piece in. Oh. And I like to place them diagonally to each other. This one and this one. Maybe I will trim this one as well, just a little. Up top needs a little something. Now, I just want to experiment with adding one more layer to this paper, overlapping, and you'll see what it does. Oh, uh-oh. Oh, there we go. See how it builds and you can see them overlapping a little bit? It's more intense as it's thicker there and it's thinner here. Okay. Now, looking for a lighter value, something different. I don't know if that goes. Let's echo some of this charcoal. Transparent again. Okay. I just want to take those lines off. Right there. It's a big enough area so you can still see both papers. It's soaking it up. Okay. Now here's a reel that's so strong. It's not going to work. This was the piece from the multi-layered collage papers that we made. And believe me, I end up using them as just highlights. And wow, are they, we got to keep on making them. See, there's gold pen, there's stencil, there's marks. There's like 5 or 6 layers on here. So I'm just going to cut that and decide yes, right there. I know it's covering up those marks, but it just has to go there. There's still some left. And now we've got more of a horizontal composition going. That's what I call intuitive placement or intuitive composition. You just sort of can't think about all those things. It's just too much. For me, anyway. Some of you might disagree. Okay. This just needed some more weight. See, that's what happens if you're just using all, it depends what kind of art you're creating, of course. All transparent, it has to have some weight. And then when you start filling in the negative spaces, That's where these shapes, and right now I'm playing with value. So I'm going to make a real warm and even go lighter here. And I like that, almost like a drip. This needs to be a stronger white. I'm covering up that paper a little and some of these marks, but that's okay. And some physical texture. Actually, I want to go black. So now you have some interesting negative space. So I'm not going to scribble this time. I'm just going to do horizontal lines. This is called scoring through. And we're almost there. Oh. Okay. So, in some drier spots, I'll add some pen. I'm not going to go where it's wet because it'll ruin my pen. It's just that I don't want to take the time to dry right now. This is the gold, which I just love. How's everybody doing? Oh, that's excellent. Excellent, Nina. Oh, yeah. Sometimes you just want to paint, right? And remember, I don't know if you've been following along that much. I was just so dependent on the collage that my mark making wasn't coming through. So I thought, you know what? I want to start. It's how you start. I want to start with the mark making and then just bring in the collage. Notice this, the collage I use is structure. And then it ends up being composition. And it's so amazing. And I know I like my dots and dashes. But I'm going to do something a little different. I don't know how it's going to turn out. It might be overbearing, but there. Just one drip. After it dries, I might skim it over if I find it too dark, but I don't think it is because it's in amongst the black already. And say if I wanted to, where's my skewer? Oh, there it is. Add add or make it go a little further in a drip, I would just go add a bit of water. Let's do one more. There we go. And you have to be careful, of course. See, that's what I wanted. I didn't want it so precise. Now, if I don't want it to go that far, you can soak it up without smudging it. Okay, so I won't dry it now. See, I added a lot of water, so it changed the structure of that drip. Interesting. And these are the things that you learn from your mark making. How far can you take a drip? So I like that at the top, so I'm going to put another one in there. And I'm just going to let that dry. And that's it. So I don't like to compare them, but let's just do that for fun. Structure-wise, rectilinear, lots of marks here, sort of in that area. This is broken up more. This is more solid. Black's up there, black's down there. But it has a similar feel. Maybe it's heavier because of the warm and more of the black. This is light and airy, depending on what you're going for. So I hope everyone enjoyed tonight's full page intuitive art journaling session. And yes, don't forget, Nina, practice doing light on dark and dark on light and then combining them. Now in your art journal, which coming up in my course soon, I'll be taking you deeper in how to really use your art journal to explore specific things, your marks, contrasts, different elements, but all with meaning and in using your intuition. Yes, the grid composition is a great way. If you've caught my last 2 Sunday vlogs, I started with a 9 grid, just playing around. You could do a full page 18, you know, and then really dive deep into different combinations. And what it is that you're doing when you're using a 9 grid or any kind of grid, you're staying with something longer and seeing the different, just really going deep with it, rather than, oh, I tried that, and then you move on. Well, there's a lot more to explore. Okay, that's enough with me. I will see you next Tuesday for the next Create With Me. And that's it for our charcoal session. Please leave a comment in where you might want to go next. What would you like me to demonstrate? What would we want to do together, say? I would love your involvement more, as it's just a fun way to build community. Maybe we could use the art prompts. I always love using those. Oh, thank you. Good. Thank you, Nina. Nice to see you here. Sign up for the Create With Me. You'll get the emails and you'll know what's coming. There's a lot of free stuff that you get as well. Okay. We went 50 minutes today, or tonight. So, yes, I know. Being too busy is crazy. Today was. But you know what? I did my 100 days and I did 10 minutes. I said, okay, what could I possibly do every day without a miss? It's like, okay, I have 10 minutes. So I set up my table. I left it as is, everything. I just used scraps. And I have check it out, my 100 days, 10 minutes of 100 days of 10-minute art. And those are in time lapse, of course. But wow, it really changed. And it kept me connected. And 10 minutes felt like an hour. So give that some thought. Okay, I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. Thank you. Please share, like, and subscribe this video. The replay will be up in a day or two. I don't think I'll worry about editing any parts. I think it was a very fun night, and I am so thankful that you joined me. Oh, yes. Sorry about that, Nina. Yes, the art being too busy. Oh, that is so common. So common. We'll also learn how to quiet it down. All right. I'll see you next week. Happy creating, everyone.